worth noting, I thought I would at least mention the fact that initially, from the very beginning, because of the timelines and the dates, the Land of Oz was immediately something that I thought of because of all the rainbow stuff, and when there's talking about with the wave of a wand and all that stuff, I thought about Glinda the Good Witch, and then two roads in a wood. You know, he says, "Sparkle while you pine in the dust cover." That's Ruby slippers. She wore those on the yellow brick road, and you know, the Land of Oz. When I used to paint a long time ago, we actually painted the Land of Oz years and years ago. This has been over a decade ago that I did that, but all the rainbow references and the sing your own song, and when he says something in Joy's Serenade about a poem that becomes a song, that's the beginning. That's how the over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow starts. She's speaking and then she ends up singing. But the Frost quote where he says, you know, two roads diverged in a wood, I took the one less traveled, and that's made all the difference. All that stuff, plus the rainbow stuff he talks about throughout the whole thing. And the dates, his dates of saying that, you know, when he grew up, how old he is, where he spent his time around grandfather. The Land of Oz opened around the same time he was about 5, and that was like, you know, it was huge, man. There was over 100,000, might have been 200,000 people showed up just for that in the first couple years there. But anyways, I knew that was part of it, and I also knew that he said during the pandemic is when he started doing this kind of thing, when he started this off. And I thought, well, that was because he lived in LA and everybody was quarantining, and they were like, get outside, but just socially distanced. So that would do the whole return to nature thing, and that's where he's from. And so I thought, well, I'd already found out that his mother graduated from ASU and that he had been around for that, you know, and so I started looking up, you know, thinking about that, and he had just had his kids. They were like, you know, 1 or something, and he had found the love of his life that he was about to marry, you know, and so I was like, that was the treasure thing. To me, initially, the whole treasure hunt and everything was really him discovering what I've always known, which is that your family is the only priceless treasure that anybody has in this world if they're lucky. And that you know, and that's what I felt, and that's kind of how I identified with him initially, was that he was discovering that wisdom himself. And so that's what endeared me to the whole project initially. And I just thought that was worth mentioning, you know, was that I knew out gate that it was one treasure he was talking about, and really his treasure was his family. And I knew that before I even got started looking for where he had stuck the boxes. But I thought that was worth noting, so I thought I'd mention it.